Hi guys, welcome back to the Mission Empowered podcast with me, your host Emily, and today I'm joined by the lovely Laura. Laura, do you know what I've just actually forgot? Because your Instagram is Laura Loves Fit,
It
isn't it?
used to be.
What is
I
it now?
changed it. So I used to be Laura's Fit Loves. And
Yeah.
when was it? Start of the year, maybe? I rebranded. So, changed everything, just decided to go in a whole new direction. So I'm now thriving with Laura because the dot
Perfect.
was the only one available.
I don't know what your last name is.
Kendrew.
Kendra. Wow, and I've known you for years, and I just realised as I pressed record, I was like, with the lovely Laura. Oh no, great. So, guys, Laura Kendrew, welcome to the Mission Empowered podcast, Honey Pie.
Lovely. Thank you for having me.
And if you're watching this, guys, on Spotify or on YouTube, you will be able to see I am so thankful that I've put makeup on today because Laura looks absolutely beautiful, and I would
Give
have
up.
turned up looking like a potato. So when this podcast actually goes out, I would have had the baby, which is
Wow.
weird. I know, because that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing some
Yeah.
pre-recording stuff. I mean, I think I would have had the baby. We'll see. Maybe I'll be like just taking some downtime before the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is why I wanted to do this. So you can see the birthing ball in the background. And yes, we're just doing a little bit of prep work for the podcast. So welcome to the podcast, babe. Today we're going to
Thank
talk
you.
through the reason I asked Laura to come on is because Laura is also, like me, a fellow coach / fellow CrossFitter. So we know that we love doing the performance stuff, but you're also bang into your physique, and everyone will see that when they go on your Instagram, like you look amazing as well. And I think that's very similar to like me, is that we want to look good, feel good, but then we also want to be really proud of what our bodies can do as well. So that's what this episode is going to be about. But before we get into it, I'm going to hand over to you and just tell everyone, because it's your first time on the pod, a little bit about you, and then we'll say how we know each other.
It is, yeah. Thank you for having me. So, yes, I'm Laura, and that's it. Like everybody's just kind of known me as Laura's Fit Loves. I
Laura's
think
Fit
people
Loves.
actually thought like my middle name and my surname was Fit Loves.
I mean, wouldn't that be great if that was your job?
I know.
I bought a hypnobirthing course off a woman, and her last name is Childs. And I
No
thought, what a
way.
great name for like hypnobirthing, is that your last name is Childs. It's
That's
like
mad,
written in the
isn't
stars. Anyway, carry on. So everyone thought your name was Fit Loves, yeah?
it? So yeah, we're not Fit Loves anymore. So we're now thriving. And of
Right.
course, yeah. So what I do, I work with women in a kind of similar position to the people who you work with. Really,
Mm-hmm.
we get women from a place of not feeling very confident in themselves. Of course, losing a little bit of weight along the way, but more importantly, getting them feeling strong, getting them in the gym, doing
Mm-hmm.
things they never thought possible. And
Mm-hmm.
that is my aim, to get all those women in the gym and feeling comfortable at pushing those comfort zones and recognizing what they can do, because that's a
Yeah.
big part of it, isn't it? And I know we're gonna go into that a lot more today.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that. And it's so nice to be on the same page, because it's nice to have, I try and get a lot of different guests on the podcast of like I've had, do you know Ali, don't you? Ali Fraser.
Yeah, yeah,
Ali, like he's one, but obviously he's like bodybuilder vibes. Who else have we had on?
yeah.
Adele. I've got another coach I want to come on who's like really into running. And I think it's just to like expand people's horizons, because
Mm-hmm.
you know what I've realised now, Law, like being in our industry for I've been in the fitness industry since I was like 16, but doing
Mm,
online coaching coming up to 5 years now. You know what I find really boring is just being a fat loss coach, because I'm
absolutely.
like, there's so much more to life than that. And it's not that
Mm-hmm.
we can't do the fat loss side of things. We
Mm-hmm.
can. You don't just have to do that, because that's boring. And that's why I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people give up, is because
Yeah.
it does become boring when you're just chasing a number on the scales, a clothes size. You do get to the
Mm-hmm.
point where you're like, what is this? Is this life? Is
Yeah.
this what I'm waking up every day to do? Is to see that the scales go down? Like, I get it. It's part and parcel, but like, what when you see that number and you get that buzz for them 10 seconds, then you have to go and crack on with the rest of your day. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
do you go into work and say, "Oh my god, guys, guess what? I saw 150 pounds on the scales," and
Yeah.
people don't care about that. But if
Mm-hmm.
you go into work and you say, "Guys, I did a pull up. Look at my
Yeah.
video of me doing a pull up. Holy shitballs. That's the good
Mhm.
stuff. So I've gone off one. Right. So look, I've gone off on one. Look, tell me your background then before we get into that, because that's what we're going to talk about there. Just talk a little bit about like your background. Why did you get into fitness?
So I used to be a primary school teacher, and this is
Yeah.
like a well-known thing on my page. I do tend to work with a lot of teachers now, but not
Nice.
just teachers. But I guess I come from a place of being like, working all hours, not looking after myself, just living to work ultimately, which happens in loads of careers anyway, and we know
Yeah.
that. But I very much came from that background of, just living with not really like any hobbies or anything like
Hmm.
that, anything for myself, and just feeling miserable, just raiding the cupboards when you got home from work, feeling like, just hungry, lacking in energy all the time. And I knew like something had to change. And that's when I kind of pushed myself to be like, right, yeah, let's get a hobby, let's go in the gym, And I
Yeah.
kind of like skipped I've done all like the Davina DVDs and all the daft pump it up
Mhm.
and stuff like that back in the days. But I think just taking that step to be like, right, let's go and do something and focus on myself, it massively helped me to not just, yeah, like feel comfortable in my body and, lose a bit of weight and build muscle,
Mm.
but to have that little like hobby, something you enjoy doing for yourself that isn't just living to work all the time, which I think a lot of people don't really have these days. They don't
Yeah.
always, unless you're like into knitting or something like that,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
cool now. But what do you do
Which is
apart
cool
from that?
now.
Yeah,
You see Tom Daly doing his crocheting at the
this
Olympics.
is it exactly.
Wow.
It's a thing
Yeah.
now, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
not for
I
me.
agree. Like, I do think as well, like, when people say hobby is, I genuinely think a lot of people think a hobby is literally like working Monday to Friday and
Mm,
then going on the piss Friday,
yeah.
Saturday. Like, and that's
Hmm.
people's like perception of like, well, that is my hobby. Like, even one of
Yeah.
my best friends, we were talking about hobbies, and she was like, my hobby is socializing. I was like,
Mm.
yeah, but let's go swimming. Let's get swimming as
Yeah.
a hobby as well. Like, and I do, I feel like, yeah, you bob on is that a lot of people do get up for work, and it's great that you've got that. Like I said, I've always been into fitness, always worked in the fitness industry. So
Hmm.
you've got that experience of being a teacher, which is full on anyway. And
Hmm.
then sort of, because I don't know if you feel like this, but a lot of people's barriers are, I don't have time to go to the gym.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
It's a
how
massive
how
thing,
did
isn't
you
it?
how did you shift law from having like that mindset of like doing the teaching to that? Did you get a coach or anything, or did you just do it off your own back?
I didn't to begin with. I didn't because I was not gonna lie, like online coaching wasn't really a thing then.
Yeah,
Like, Instagram wasn't a big thing or anything like that.
yeah,
So it was like you either had a PT in the gym or you didn't. You did the DVDs at home. It was one or the
yeah,
other really. So I never went down the coaching route because I was like too scared to have a PT in the gym. Just
yeah,
scared of the environment and just thought, oh, don't ask anyone in there.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I kind of just I realize that like these are like the cards I've been dealt at the end of the day. Like I've chosen to be a teacher. I've chosen this job. You choose at the end of the day, don't you? Like to either sit in a position of, oh, I don't have any time. I'm going to feel miserable and da 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 da,
Mm-hmm.
not do anything about it, or you choose and be like, right, yeah, I don't have any time, but I can choose to make time, and I can choose to like, okay, I'm gonna, make sure that I do get up that little bit earlier because I know that it's going to make me feel better. And, I
Mm-hmm.
know that if I go and work out and do something for myself, then it's going to be better for, my mental health and my brain
Mm-hmm.
space. And I think that's it. Like, and this is what I say to a lot of, people who I do work with. And I'm sure you will yourself when they're like, oh, I don't have any time. I'm like, you have to make time like for this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you can just sit and procrastinate about it forever and sit and moan about it forever. But unless you start to build it into your routine and into your life, then you're never going to get the time ultimately, are you?
Never, no. And you know what? Two things I just want to bring up from that happened yesterday with my clients. I think is amazing. So one of my clients is a teacher, and she's
Mm-hmm.
got three kids. So she's going back to teaching in
Wow.
September, after being on maternity. And we've got her in the gym. She was doing home workouts because when she
Mm-hmm.
started, she was like, three kids, no way I'm getting to the gym.
Yeah.
And then I think I did a gym day with my clients, and she
Mm-hmm.
was like, I really feel like I missed out on that. So anyway, we went, long story short, I was like, let's get you in the gym. Let's just
Yeah.
see. Let's give it, like you said, let's just make the time. Let's
Mm-hmm.
really Because I think as well, like when you are super busy, you do have to dissect that time to think, where can I
Yeah.
go? It's not just going to be like, oh, I've got the luxury. You do have to really think about it. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
long story short, I'd call with her yesterday. She's going back to the gym. She's like, right, my alarm is going to be 5:30. I'm going to go to the gym for 35 minutes because I know that it takes me 8 minutes to get there,
Yeah.
35 minutes in, 8 minutes to get home, and then I'm going to go back to work. And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
you're a fucking inspo. Like, you are a
Yeah.
queen. You've got 3 kids and you're going back to work and you are
Mm-hmm.
not even saying to me, how am I going to do it? You're coming to me and being like, this is how I'm going to do it. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would rather not do that because it's effort. So they
Mm-hmm.
just say, I don't have time. Whereas that is the prime example of someone who is making time because she knows how it's
Exactly.
going to make her feel and stuff like that. And then the
Mm-hmm.
second thing I was going to say about one of my other clients is she is a dentist.
Mm-hmm.
She started a side business with aesthetics and she's got 2 kids. And she just is like, home workouts, they're just not working for her. Fine. I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of them anyway because I think your motivation isn't there, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really had like a convo. We were like, look, we've got an option. We don't do any workouts ever. And you, like you said, Law, you just become victim to the choices that
Mm-hmm.
you've made. I said,
Yeah.
or you've got this 1 hour and 10 minutes when you're in work that you actually could. We found a gym. There's like 8 minutes in the car or 3 minutes in the car,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. You go in for half an hour and you come. Anyway, she voiced notes me yesterday crying. I've done it. I've been in the
Oh.
gym. And she was like crying. And
Oh.
I felt like I wanted to cry for her. She was like, I feel so
Yeah.
stupid for crying. I was like, you're crying because you're so proud of yourself that you've made this work
Exactly.
and you found that light of,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I can do this. I'm not victim to my job, my home life. I can make it work. And I've just felt like
Mm-hmm.
that was, both of them things were like really appropriate to like what you were saying of
Yeah.
making the time and finding the time.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's it, isn't it? I know. It is what it is, isn't it? Everyone's got different lifestyles, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to Molly May and say we've all got the same 24 hours or anything like that,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, we've all got different circumstances. But if you
But
do want
yeah.
to find time for yourself, then you will, and it doesn't have to be hours and hours in the gym, does it? But I think that for me, just finding the gym and being like, oh my God, yeah, I can go and, switch off from
Mm-hmm.
everything. And that's what I do. And this, I'm very similar to you, like, home workouts, yeah, they serve a purpose. They're great if you've not got a lot of time and stuff. But
Yeah.
where you can, I'm always like, right, get in the gym, because it's motivational, isn't it? It's a change of environment.
Yeah.
You're with other people who've got similar goals, and
Yeah.
you're just able to like just zone out
Yeah.
and do your own thing and come away from it feeling like, yeah, I've just done something for me. And I think that it's
Yes.
just such a good buzz. And once I got that buzz, I was like, yeah, keep going, keep going.
It is, isn't it? It is. It's getting that buzz, and it
Hmm.
doesn't. You know what? And I've done the podcast on this. We'll actually go into the purpose of our podcast in a minute. But when you get into the gym and that buzz, I always say this to my girls who are starting in the gym. I said, don't expect your first workout to leave and you be like, fucking
Mm.
hell, this is unreal. I was like, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna feel nervous. You're probably gonna
Mm.
leave thinking, well, that was traumatic. Like, I
Mm.
didn't know if I used the right weight, was doing it wrong. And I said,
Yeah.
but after 1 to 2 weeks of being consistent and finding your groove, like with
Hmm.
anything, that's when the buzz will come. And
Exactly.
that's when it won't be a chore to go because you'll be
Hmm.
going for the after feeling. Whereas you do have to have, that's why I said, did you just do it off your own back getting into the gym? Because I do feel like it takes, I'm so proud of any woman that goes, you know what, I'm going to sign up to the gym just off her own back.
Mm.
Because I think
Yeah.
it takes a lot to do that. That's why I do podcasts on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so started in the gym, then what?
So yeah, I kind of like got into a position where I was like sharing my own journey. This is when
Yeah.
Instagram became much more of a thing, very
Mhm.
early days, like sharing my own journey on Instagram and, like been a teacher at the same time, and they were very
Yeah.
conflicting. It was like trying to keep it on the low down because, teachers aren't allowed to share anything.
Yeah, especially not
But
their ass.
I
You
know,
go,
yeah.
you go see on Laura's Instagram, she's got a great bum. Yeah.
Well, this was like the time where it was like bums were a big thing, wasn't it? And it was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody, I feel like the hype died down a bit more, but very much like glutes are a big thing. And that's a big thing about, why I was so focused at the time. Like, yeah, grow these glutes, grow these
Yeah,
glutes.
yeah, yeah.
But I feel like then you know, I obviously was sharing my journey, and I would get, you know, the women message me like, "Oh, how are you doing this? Da 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 da. Like, you're so busy, but you're a
Mm-hmm.
teacher. How do you manage this?" And I was giving out advice, and I got to a point where I was like, you know what? How about we do this for a job?
Yeah.
So I gradually, like, you know, moved away from teaching, went into coaching. I worked on the gym floor for a bit in just before lockdown, and then obviously lockdown happened. All hell broke loose. And of course, we were kind of pushed into the home workouts, and I lost my
Yeah.
groove. And this is, we obviously had no choice, did we, but to do home workouts because it is
Yeah.
what it is. But I feel like I really lost my groove in that time. And even when the gym started to open back up again, I was kind of at a position where, you know, like a lot of people, I'd put on a lot of weight over lockdown. I didn't feel so good in myself. And I felt a little bit lost in my training. You know, I was a bit like lacking the motivation, the direction, and I'd never really gone through that phase because I'd always been quite self motivated, and that kind of leads me up to joining CrossFit and, you know, finding something that is a bit different. And you know what, our trip to Dubai, you
Mm-hmm.
inspired me, and you probably don't know this, but because I
Oh,
knew at the time that you were, you know, doing CrossFit, and I'd,
yeah.
you know, watch your stories and be like, oh, I want to do that. I want to swing around on the bars.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I wanted to do something that was a bit different because I think, you know, like the bodybuilding kind of style
Mm-hmm.
training is all good and well, but you get to a point where you're like, it's just about physique all the time, isn't it? It's how you look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, you're
Mm-hmm.
chasing a scale, you're chasing a, have I got a glute pump and all these daft things
Yeah.
where I was
Yeah.
like, I need to shift that focus.
Yeah.
So you were a massive part of
Oh,
inspiring me on my
don't make me
little
cry, by the
CrossFit
way.
journey.
Obviously, I'm like 7.5 months pregnant. I'm on the edge 24/7 of like emotional. But yeah, I do. I remember you asking me about it because obviously I follow
Mm,
you on Instagram and I see how amazing you're doing now with like your CrossFit and stuff. You can just
mhm,
see it. You're just thriving.
buzzing.
Um, but I remember you saying to me because obviously it's really hard. I think so. I've always built my business around performance and physique and both of them, and
Mhm,
I do think as a coach, whatever journey you're going through, you put it on your stories, like
mhm.
that can attract like a type of person. But
Yeah.
luckily for me, I've always done CrossFit, and then
Mhm,
when I've been like photo shoot prepping, I have found that I've got took on a lot more like physique based clients, which is fine.
mhm.
And I remember you saying to me because obviously you built your business on physique and then
Yeah.
transitioned into CrossFit. I think you said to me, I just remember the sentence you were like, I think I'm just so bored of like training my ass. You said something like that, and
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. Like
Yeah.
it's for me, obviously not now being pregnant. Prior to pregnancy, I found a nice balance between going to CrossFit and training in the gym for physique as well. I do like to have that balance
Yeah.
because at one point I was doing CrossFit like 6 times a week. And I
Mm,
think now when I look back, I think I was overtraining a little bit because as we
yeah.
know, like CrossFit can be quite intense. I think I was overtraining. Yeah, I was doing a lot, I was doing a lot of CrossFit and maybe my nutrition wasn't like 100% where it needs to be anyway. Then when
Mhm.
I started prepping for my wedding and I started doing the mixture of two, I was like, this is me.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm going to tell everyone, make sure you do like a bit of both or whatever. You can do all CrossFit. I've got clients who've worked with me from a physique point of view, got where they want to be, and then just gone, I'm going to go back to CrossFit full time. And I'm like, cool,
Mhm.
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And then I've got people who've done CrossFit come to me with physique and gone, I fucking love bodybuilding. I'm going to do that. So I think, yeah, but for me, I like having a mixture of both. Do you just do CrossFit now, Laura, or do you do a little bit of both?
So I do I primarily train CrossFit, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a gymnastics coach, and the
Oh my god,
gymnastics
so
coaching.
jealous. Yeah.
So that is, but that's like kind of like the elements of bodybuilding in that, you know,
Yeah.
it's not as random as CrossFit. It's got that same structure of,
Like progressive overload and stuff.
yeah,
And yeah,
but
yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah.
from a gymnastics element. So I'm still like seeing the, you know, like the physique gains in a sense, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm also been like, yeah, I can hold a handstand, and you know, I've done more toaster bar, and you know, like all
Yeah.
these first time things that are like, oh my god, yeah, check me. So it's,
Yeah.
I've got that buzz back, whereas I'm not just doing like 10 lateral raises for the sake of 10 lateral raises. I'm like,
Yes.
if I build
Yeah.
stronger shoulders, then I can do handstand push-ups. And do you know what I mean?
100 million%. And I think that's why I like doing the both, because obviously, going to the gym and doing a back session, yes, okay, it gives me a nice looking back, but also I know I'm strengthening like my lats and stuff, which is going to
Yeah.
transfer over into doing pull-ups, toes to bar, muscle ups, stuff like that. So just wanted to touch on that. This is digressing into like a nice little combo. We're not really sticking to the point, but it's fine. So both me and Laura do CrossFit, as we've just said. I'm sure 90% of people listening will know what CrossFit is, but if you don't, CrossFit is a mixture of, it's like functional training. So you do Olympic lifting, you do some gymnastics, it's about working your cardiovascular system, and you do have a structure to it. But then always in the sessions you'll be doing like what we call like a WOD, so workout of the day, which is a mixture of all the components put together. So it might be a little bit of barbell work with some gymnastics and cardio. It might just be all cardio. It might be core. So it is what we call like functional training. The reason I'll ask you about this actually, Law, get your opinion on it, because I've got my opinion. So I obviously doing CrossFit. I have like quite a few CrossFit followers who follow me.
Yeah.
And they will maybe then say, look, I'm doing CrossFit, but I'm not how I want to look. And 9 times out of 10, it's to do with the nutrition. But I do think CrossFit, trying to do CrossFit to get a physique goal, you are best doing a mix, in my opinion, because I do think sometimes it can lack that progressive overload that bodybuilding gives you. So do you know what I mean? So if someone says to me, I'm doing CrossFit full time, but I really want to develop my glutes or my shoulders, I personally think you need to be doing multiple times a week shoulder exercises. And in CrossFit, sometimes you don't know what you're getting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think, opinion wise, on that when it comes to like physique and stuff? From a
Exactly the
CrossFit
same.
or,
Like, I think a lot of people will look at typical CrossFitters and be like, oh, they've got loads of muscles, they're
yeah,
they're hench. Like, I will
yeah,
look
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, but they're training like 6 hours a day. That is not
Yeah, that's the point. They're not going to a 1 hour class. They're doing like 3 hours of
exactly.
training. Yeah.
And it's not, like, and the CrossFitters, of course, like they've got their structure outside of it, and they'll do their bodybuilding kind of style training, but
Exactly.
with the functional element of, they know that, they're going to train some overhead strict press because it's going to carry over into strict handstand push-ups, and that will
Yeah.
make them. And I think that's it, isn't it? That like you say, that physique wise, a lot of the people who like might train at your gym have probably come from years of bodybuilding, so they've already
Yeah.
had that muscle. Like, I guess, a bit like me, like I already had big glutes, big legs, but my upper body was massively lacking, which
Yeah.
in CrossFit is something that I've had to catch up with, but I've always kind of had that base, which has really helped me. Whereas I think if you throw yourself in the deep end at CrossFit with a physique goal, you'll be quickly like shocked into the fact that it's not like, you're not going to see the same kind of changes
As if you were going to the
physically.
gym 4 times a week doing a full body split.
Exactly. And I think that's why you have to have that nice balance of, you might do a few classes, because this is what I do. I tend to do like 2 classes a week because it's fun, and, I want to join in and do the
Community. Yeah.
CrossFit stuff. But at the same time, I need that structure outside of it to be seeing the strength increases, I'm still a little bit vain, and, I want to look good.
Oh my god, that's so fine. Yeah, like 100%. It's
That
it's
way.
no shame in having a bit of pride of how you look, or to want, nice.
Yeah.
What I love, and I feel like I've worked so fucking hard for. Love the going slightly, but I've only got 5 weeks ago. Shoulders and arms. Like
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
I love having really developed shoulders and arms. I don't care if that's vain. I like it. It's my
Exactly.
look. And
Yeah.
some people, I've literally had people comment on my shoulders and arms and been like, "Oh, they're a bit muscly." I'm like,
Oh.
"Oh, sorry, stick arms." But do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. But yeah, so I know for me that when I started doing the CrossFit with the like shoulder workouts, upper workouts,
Yeah.
and that was when I got married. I really went ham on that, and I was like, "Wow, this is cool."
Yeah.
So we've totally digressed. I love that. 25 minutes in, but I feel like this is a natural combo into like
It
what
is.
we've done. We've gone through fat loss. We know that it can be boring. It's okay to say that, but performance then. So I want to touch on why do we think it's important to not just have a sole physique goal or slash fat loss goal. I mean, we've touched on it really. So I'll start, give you some thinking time. So for me, I feel like my outlook on training now is that when you start training, exercising, it should be a lifelong thing that you're getting into. It's not, I'm starting training for my wedding or for my holiday. Like that can be a stepping stone in your journey, but it shouldn't be the end destination. Like
Yeah.
training and exercise is so good for us mentally, physically, health wise. We need to be doing it forever. Like that's the thing, that when you start the gym, it's a forever thing. I think also that takes the pressure off of, oh my God, I need to go to the gym and be amazing straight away. So for me, if you sign up to a gym or start training from a solely physique point of view, that is going to get, in my opinion, quite boring quite quick. If you start thinking, God, I'm just doing this workout to look a certain way for the rest of my life, you're going to quit, because it is going to be boring, because there's going to be times of your life, I'm fucking exhibit A here, where you can't train for physique. You can't train for what you look like. You've got to be training for more than that. And that's why I think when I talk to my girls, yes, clients might come to me and say, I'm getting married in 6 months or whatever. Like that can be the primary goal. That's fine. But alongside that, let's check in with some PBs, or let's see if we can improve your running at the same time, because you're gonna have weeks and days where you're like, I feel like, because we're women and hormones, I feel like shit. I feel like my body's not responding. And if you're only judging your progress on what you're looking like or feeling like, they are the weeks that you're gonna go, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I give up. Yeah. So that's my point of view from like a mental side. Is there anything you think you want to add into that, Law?
Yeah, I agree. Like a lot of people will start out, and this is the kind of people that I generally attract, is that the people who want to lose weight, look a bit
Yes.
more toned,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I think that it's a good thing that they attract those people, but then along the way kind of change their mindset to looking at
%.
the bigger picture of, well, actually, yeah, you might think that you want this, but along the way you've got to learn to be patient and learn that. I think the thing of delayed gratification as well, like we mentioned, like at the beginning of the podcast, that if you just go into the gym for the first time, that when you go in the gym, you're not going to get that buzz straight away. Like it's going to be a process of building that confidence up and getting over that anxiety over time. But I think that there's so many big milestones that you can hit when you focus on performance rather than just physique. But at the same time, like, and I say this to all my clients, I'm like, right, let's focus on getting your first pull up, those kinds of things that are exciting. Because have you ever seen somebody in bad shape like do a pull up, a woman? Like, no, you haven't, have you? Because it's a very, very difficult thing to do. It's very demanding, and you're going to build that shapely, toned appearance that you're striving for, but you're going to do it in a way in which you start to respect your body more. And I think that's a big thing, that a lot of women will try to lose weight from a perspective of, I hate myself, I'm going to call myself fat, and how horrible that is. That is a lot of, we
Negative
know
motivation never works long term. That's what I always say to my
exactly.
clients. Yeah,
And that's that, you cannot lose weight and keep it off from a perspective of disrespecting your body. But when you go to the gym and you see what your body's capable of, it's like a massive boost to your confidence of, oh my God, yeah, I couldn't do this 3 weeks ago and now I'm lifting these weights. And especially if you're new to the gym, you'll know that you massively make gains very, very quickly in the early days, and you can change your appearance quite quick as well. And I think that if you can focus on, like we say, doing a push up, getting a body weight squat, being able to do a pull up, then it gives you so much more purpose in life and shows you that your body is not just about what people view you as, but you've got to look at yourself from a perspective of, look at all these amazing things I can do. And that's the biggest confidence boost. And I think that's done, like CrossFit has done a lot for me in terms of confidence, because I joined like a little lost soul, feeling really not
How long have you been
confident
going
in
for now,
myself.
Law?
How long? 2 years?
2 years, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I feel like in that 2 years, I mean, there's so much to learn, even from a perspective of someone who's not completely new to, weightlifting. It's like, I've only just got toaster bar legs. That is how long it's been. Because you just practice things randomly, don't you? But
Yeah.
I don't know, I've got that structure, it's different. But that's it, like if you can strive to doing amazing things, then the confidence in not just in your body but in yourself and what you can do, and not, trash talking yourself, like that is the big thing that changes, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, babe. 100, everything you just said there, 100%. From that mental perspective, I can't be more clear on if you are literally just, working out and not really taking in, that mental side of things of,
Mm-hmm.
am I getting better in this? Am I getting better in that? Am I chasing that? And you're literally just judging progress off your
Yeah.
mirror. You're going to end up in two ways. One, you're going to give up because, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, physical changes can take a while to come. So how
Yeah.
boring if the process for you is literally just waiting for that. Or
Mm-hmm.
two, you're going to achieve what you want to achieve, and then what you're going to do? You're going to
Yeah.
stop. And what happens when we stop? We go backwards. What happens when we go backwards? We end up back at square one. Then we're like, fucking hell, I've got to do it all again. It's
Yeah.
not, there's no good outcome of just
Mm.
solely focusing on like physique. So even if you, I think I want to say, because there'll be people listening to this who are like, but I like chasing my physique. That's fine, but
Yeah.
subconsciously you will be chasing the numbers as well, because
Yeah.
to get that stronger toned physique, you have to do progressive overload. You
Mm-hmm.
have to chase the weight. You have to see your form improve.
Yeah.
And my advice would just be to maybe just shift a little bit of focus on taking it after selfie gym to look at your logbook and be
Mm.
like, how well did I do today? Oh my God, like
Yeah.
I've gone up, 10 kilos from 6 weeks ago, or the last
Mm-hmm.
time I did this. Like, I'm such a big fan of a logbook, like
Yeah.
in tracking your weights and tracking your reps and compare. Even now being pregnant, it's definitely kept me going, because my aim
Mm-hmm.
now is to try and maintain as much strength as possible. Obviously,
Yeah.
not progressing and pushing, but I accidentally put the key in the wrong thing on the adduction machine the other day. And I was like, fucking hell, this feels harder than last week. And then when I wrote it in, I was like, oh, I went up a weight.
Yeah.
Like I was buzzing. I
Mm-hmm.
know that my, legs have lost a little bit of tone. Honestly, though, like I feel like someone stood on me. I feel like they look wider, like because I've been squished. Anyway,
Oh.
but for me, I was just like, that is the feeling that more people need to have in the gym. Is
Yeah.
that I'm proud of myself because my weights have gone up. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the mental side of things. Is you got to be chasing more than the physique or the number. So from a physical side of things, the thing that I've written down is, you know, when you are chasing more than a number, chasing more than a physique, the gratification you get, and you said it before, Law, of doing whether that's a lift, whether it's hitting a number in strength, whether it's doing a toes to bar, a pull up, a push up, a sit up, whatever, the feeling that you get of achieving that compared to the feeling that you get of stepping on the scales or measuring
Mm-hmm.
yourself with a measuring tape that lasts maybe 1 minute of, yeah, I did
Yeah.
it. The feeling of doing a push up, of doing a
Mm-hmm.
pull up, of doing all of them things is like, not only have I done it, nobody else has done this. Like, I'm so fucking proud of
Mm-hmm.
myself for doing that. That will last you. I don't even want to say all day, because I remember getting my first pull up and I'm still
Yeah.
not that high now,
Yeah.
because it's like years down the line. Can you do a pull up? Yes, I can. No,
Yeah.
years down the line. Did you hit your goal weight? Yes, I did. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
cares because it's
No.
not that impressive, but
Mm-hmm.
doing these performance things, it's like, I remember one of my clients messaged me. She was like, I've just gone through my workouts for this week, and is this right that I've deadlifted my own body weight? Like, if the scales say I'm 67 and I've
Mm-hmm.
just deadlifted 70 kg, if I deadlifted my own body weight, and I was like, yeah, and she was like, how fucking cool is that? And I was like, I know, but I feel like because people
Exactly.
aren't aware of these things, they don't
Mm-hmm.
chase them. So from a
Exactly.
physical point of view, obviously I've just talked a lot there. What do you think, Law? Like, I've said like being more proud of what your body can do than what it looks like. Is there
Mm-hmm.
anything else you'd say to clients or anyone listening to try and shift their, like, focus onto that more?
I think, like you say, it's first of all ask yourself that: Are you training progressively? Because that's the big thing, isn't it? If you're just doing
Yeah,
random exercises in the gym, then and that's why I hate like the random exercises in the gym and these little, YouTube videos and whatnot. That's like a different
yeah,
hit workout and stuff. Because for one, like you're not going to see the progression, but for two, you're just you're just going to the gym. You're not like training with a focus in mind or anything like that. It's just completely random in that way, isn't it?
And that's why people
And
give up, because you don't get
yeah,
results. You don't get
exactly.
physical results, but you don't get the buzz of getting stronger because
Mhm.
you're in the gym willy nilly.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
it. There's you're just following a video. You're never like pushing yourself to, oh, I'll go try those bigger weights, or I'll go
Yeah.
and try that different bit of equipment, because you're just like, you might as well just be doing it anyway, to be
Yeah.
honest, haven't you? But look at you, you big jug of water.
Mate, I'm no joke. I'm on about 5 litres of water a day minimum. Yeah. Go on, carry on.
Replacing the
Sorry.
fluids. But yeah, the first thing is like make sure you are, like you do have that structure in the gym and you are following like progressive overload, because it gets frustrating, and you've got to ask yourself, am I just going to the gym and acting like it is a chore, or am I going and getting excited about pushing myself to lift those bigger dumbbells? Am I getting excited about using a machine for the first time, or
Mhm.
giving a different exercise in my program a go? And like that in itself is a massive confidence boost, isn't it? We know that, if you're a person who is a little bit shy in the gym, then of course it's not about just throwing yourself immediately into the deep end, but it's
Mhm.
slowly introducing these things and feeling proud of yourself along the way, because that's something that keeps you coming back for more, isn't it? Like, you'll know from your own journey, like getting your first pull up, your first toes to bar, your first muscle up, those kinds of things, like, oh my God, holy crap. But yeah, if you're not following a program and you don't have any idea of what you're doing, then
Yeah.
you're always going to be kind of tripping yourself up, and not having like that focus for actually what you are doing within your workouts. You know what I mean? Like,
Massive.
if you're doing a
What are
dumbbell
you
punching
doing?
exercise,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like what does
Like,
that carry over to?
what are you going to the gym to achieve?
Yeah,
If you're doing them types of exercises, you know the answer's going to be slimmer arms.
yeah,
Like, you
no,
just you know that, and I think that's the whole. You know what? We've gone off piece of this podcast, but we've got the message across. Is that like that's why you need to be having more than a physique goal performance, because you
yeah,
want to be training with purpose. Like,
exactly.
why are you showing up? And for some
Mm,
people, I know we're talking a little bit of like weightlifting and stuff like that, but for some people, and this is where we focus a lot on the fit and six, we do a little fit check at the beginning, at the end, that is
mhm,
literally body weight. It's burpees, it's press ups, it's sit ups, because if you're not doing anything to be able
yeah,
to do a burpee chest to floor and
mhm.
get up and not want to pass out afterwards, that's huge, you know
Absolutely.
and even
Yeah.
like you were saying, Law, about going to the gym, like sometimes if you're a cardio bunny and you go to the gym and you do the bike, the cross trainer, and the treadmill, just having the purpose to go in that one session and say, well, I'm actually going to get a mat and I'm going to
Mhm.
do 3 sets of 10 press ups and 10 sit ups this time,
Yeah.
and chasing that is the start.
Mhm.
And then you can go into all the other bits and bobs of, like, deadlifting, back squatting, and all that.
Yeah.
But everyone has to start somewhere. We both started somewhere.
Mhm.
I remember the first time I vividly remember the first WOD that I did in CrossFit, and
Oh,
I
me too.
genuinely was like, I'm gonna die. I
I'm
am
done.
dying. And like you, Law, I'd been to the gym, I'd done the circuit
Yeah.
training, and I remember thinking, what the actual fuck was that? It was, and
Mm.
I think it was about an 8 minute WOD, and it was thrusters and burpees over bar.
Oh,
I,
wow.
I remember. I remember it, and one of my friends, because I've made really nice friends, like best friends from CrossFit. I remember her being in front of me. Obviously, I
Yeah.
didn't know her at this point, and I remember thinking, and this will be helpful for people to listen. But I remember thinking, what type of human is this person? Like, who is doing this and not dying?
Yeah.
No way, like, you're thinking, I can't show people I'm dying here, but inside you are
Yeah.
like, I'm not even asthmatic and I need an inhaler. Like, that vibe. And I remember thinking that. And now, so whenever I'm in CrossFit and there are new people, or even in the gym, and I
Mhm.
see people and I know that they're struggling, I always say to them, it gets better. It
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
easier. And I say to my clients as well.
Mhm.
They're like,
Absolutely.
what the F was that workout you programmed for me? I'm like, yeah, but in 8 weeks' time, when you're doing that
Mhm.
again and you're not dying and you're hitting numbers, you are going to look back and be so proud that you kept going.
Yeah.
Like, that is like what we're trying to like instill.
Mhm.
Do you remember your first WOD at CrossFit?
I do. It was like in the. Do you do like an on ramp of, where you learn the
What?
movement? An on ramp. It's like a
I've
no.
never heard of an on
If
ramp.
you not, Google it. So it's like a CrossFit thing where, So it's like to make sure that you can do all the foundations, before.
What does
I don't know.
on-ramp stand for?
Nothing. It's just like, it means like an on ramp, like a ramp, a ramp up to
I
CrossFit.
thought you were saying it as like, like an AMRAP.
Oh
Or
yeah,
like a
no,
mum or
no.
something. But it was, oh, right, okay, no. On-ramp, go on.
So
Never
on
heard of it.
ramp, it's
Yeah.
basically like you do like 3 1-to-1 sessions that kind of like teach you all the Olympic lifting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was at the end of one of them, and it was like 10 wall balls, 10 squats with the wall balls, and then
Yeah.
like 10 burpees. And I swear it was only for like 3 minutes. And I was like, that was the longest 3 minutes of my life. Like, literally dying. And when it's
Dying.
in that 1-to-1 thing as well, you're like, there's nobody,
Yeah.
at least in a class, you're dying with all these other people. I
Other
was like,
people, you can, yeah.
and it's that thing where you question yourself, like, oh God, will I ever get fitter? And again, that's a really good thing to focus on. It's not all about, the strength, but of
No,
course.
yeah.
And fitness improves a hell of a lot quicker than, like strength and muscle, and you can see the
Yes.
changes a lot quicker, which is
Mm-hmm.
a good thing to chase as well, like, to breathe better, to feel like you're not
To
tired.
get up the stairs
Yeah.
and not be like, wow, like I'm not panting or dying, or I can hold a
Mm-hmm.
convo, or
Yeah.
sleeping. When I
Mm-hmm.
know we spoke a lot about the gym. Movement loosens your body, strengthens your body. If you're a bad sleeper with aches and pains, the
Yeah.
amount of times that people say to me, and I use the Fit in 6 because it's time bound, it's 6 weeks. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sleeping so much better now. I'm having restful
Yeah.
sleep. I'm not waking up with bad back. I feel like some people, I have shoulder pain. I don't have that anymore because they're strengthening it, they're
Absolutely.
getting it. Yeah, loads. But
Yeah.
fitness, running is another
Yeah. Yeah.
great one. Is that like
Exactly.
if you I remember the reason I got into running. So I when I was about maybe 20 before I went traveling, 24, 25, maybe like 10
Mm-hmm.
years ago, bang into my running. So I did my trail runs, my half marathons, my 10Ks, all of
Mm-hmm.
this. Like I loved it. And the reason that I started running is because I went to like this day thing where the army was there, and they did
Yeah.
like a fitness test. Bear in mind, I was working in the gym as
Yeah.
the spin instructor, teaching loads of spinning. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm gonna fucking nail this. Oh my god, you would think I'd
Yeah.
never run in my life. I think it was a mile run, might not have even been that long,
Mm-hmm.
and my knee hurt. I had that bloody taste, that metallic
Yeah.
taste
Yeah. Yeah.
in your mouth, and that scared me. I was
Yeah.
like, this is not. I wasn't even like, this is embarrassing. I was like, this is bad. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
must be unfit if I can't run
Yeah.
for 3 or 4 minutes or whatever it was. And that's what spurred me on then. And then I went on to train. And I remember how I
Yeah.
started. I just, again, no coach or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was when I was working in Total Fitness, I went into the gym and I got on the treadmill and I was like, I'm not getting off the treadmill until that says 5 kilometers. And I didn't run it all, but I ran, I walked it. And then every
Yeah.
time I went, I was like, right, today we're doing 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember I did like 10K. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should just fucking run outside now.
Sorry now.
But yeah, like again,
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously chasing that goal of, I'm gonna run further, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
fitter. Like that, it helps me. My nutrition was terrible though when I was running. Bless me, I had no idea what I was doing.
Bless me. Yeah.
I
You
didn't
live on
really
the
lose
land.
didn't really lose a lot of weight because I'd be like, oh, I've done a 9-mile run today, and then just ate
Mm.
everything.
It makes you so hungry though, like
It
CrossFit
does make,
cardio.
it
It
does make
does
you
make you
hungry. Yeah.
hungry.
And I said that to one of my clients. She's training for the marathon next year, but she wants to get lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be listening to this, actually. She listens to the podcast. And I've basically told her, oh, this is a whole new podcast, but we'll just touch on it. I just said to her, I said, just be careful because you want to do a load of running, but you're trying to diet. Running needs
Yeah.
calories. You need to have
Mm-hmm.
This is why running isn't great for fat loss. I'm
Yeah.
recording another podcast in which I'm going to talk about this in. But running isn't great for fat loss because it's like performance. So you need
Mm-hmm.
you want to have calories if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
running. Yeah. Have you ever done anything
Absolutely.
running wise, Law?
I have. I did the Great North Run once
Mhm.
upon a time. It was for charity, and obviously, like I built up to running
Yeah.
13 miles. But then I just stopped because I was like, oh, "There's enough. What more now?" I'd been running for that
Yeah.
purpose, and I didn't really know how to fuel yourself properly. And I did,
Yeah.
admittedly, feel like crap the whole way through the training because I just thought, eat salads and eat healthy,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
actually you need to eat a lot of food and a lot of carbs and, a lot
Yeah.
of protein to repair all the damage you're doing.
Yeah. To repair all
But
it's mad, isn't it? Because you
that's
speak to
it.
people who are like, I'm training for a half marathon. I'm like, how's
Mm,
your nutrition? They're like, I'm like, wow,
yeah, yeah,
really? Yeah. So anyway,
exactly.
okay. Is there anything else we want to add on? Because I feel like we've done quite well there. We've covered a lot of
We
points
have.
indirectly.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah,
anything
I
else?
think the big the big message obviously is just like it's okay to have a fat loss goal,
Of
to
course it is.
be chasing, a more toned appearance or whatever that may be. But
Yeah, because I think we'd be hypocrites if we sat here and said,
absolutely.
don't do that, because I
Yeah,
know both me and you have
yeah,
done that. And like we both said, we are a little bit vain. It's what
that's
we're in that
fine.
industry. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to
Yeah,
do that. Yeah.
exactly. But we've both done it also alongside having performance goals and
Yeah.
hitting PBs and not from a perspective of trashing ourselves and,
Hmm.
been awful to ourselves and just doing
Hmm.
stupid hit workouts and,
Hmm.
running on little energy. And
Hmm.
I think that's it, isn't it? That the message is have some performance goals, aim to get your first push up, your first 10 push ups. Like
Hmm.
that's it. Once you hit those milestones, it's like me, I went from doing I could do like barely one pull up at the start of the year. I can now do
Hmm.
5 and now I'm chasing 8 and then it'll be 10 and then muscle ups. And it's like you like more and more and more. And I know that if I continue training in that way and focusing on those things that yeah, my physique will only get better, I'll only get stronger and I'll have more muscle and that's it. If you can look at it from that angle, you'll never feel like, work. And yeah, I do sometimes would rather stay in bed rather than get up. But I know that because I'm not just going to the gym, I'm training towards those goals and I want to get
Yeah.
that's what's exciting, isn't it? And that's what
Yes.
makes you want to have that get up and go and feel
Get up
excited
and
about the
go.
journey.
Yeah, 100%. I know that sometimes, when I go to the gym or go to CrossFit, because again, my logbook, when I talk about the logbooks, everyone who's listening, you can get these off Amazon for like a fiver.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you write down your exercise, your weights, you compare it each week. Like you just said though, babe, about, getting up in the mornings, is that I feel like sometimes that's where from a coach perspective that me and you both are, that when people say, oh, how do you get up, how do you have motivation to get up,
Mm,
because I think sometimes the logic that we have in our brain of why we're going to the gym is bigger than I'm
yeah,
going to the gym because then the weight's going to come down or I'm going to look
exactly.
better. Like I
Yeah.
remember, if I'm using my logbook and I know on that day that I'm going to try and PB my back squat or my
Mm-hmm.
deadlift or my overhead press, and today's the day that it's planned in.
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, oh, a little bit nervous, a
Yeah,
little bit
absolutely.
excited. So like, okay, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
like, you have a bigger purpose that you go into the
Mm-hmm.
gym to do something, which obviously we covered about purpose. So yeah,
Exactly.
oh, I love this part. I hope this
Me
podcast
too.
lands with people and it just gives you a little bit of, everyone who's listening, I hope it gives you that little bit of window opening that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself to go to the gym for just a physique, because
Mm-hmm.
like both me and Laura have just said, Instagram, do this workout to get this bum, do this workout to get slimmer arms. Like, okay, but sometimes that's boring. And we want to say, do this workout so you can feel stronger, more
Mm-hmm.
confident, happier, healthier, like more empowered. Do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. Right. Well, Laura, just one more time, tell everyone your Instagram.
So, I forgot where the dot is now. Thriving dot with Laura, I think.
Or just go onto my Instagram and see me following her. There we go.
Yeah.
@_em.powered. All right, listen, babe, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I'm sure I'll get you on in the future and we'll talk about something else as well. But yeah. Oh, we didn't
Thank you
even
for
talk
having
about,
me.
you know what we didn't even talk about?
What?
Like how we know each other.
Oh yeah, I kind of slipped it
Oh,
in at the start, but that
you
was it,
did slip
wasn't
it
it?
in at the start, yeah. So basically, me and Laura have known each other. Bye, everyone. P.S. Me and Laura have known each other for maybe coming up to 5 years as well. Hang on, when did we go
Maybe.
to Dubai?
Oh, I don't.
2020 or
Oh,
2021?
it must have been 2020 after lock. Yeah, we couldn't have gone in 2020, could we? 2021.
2021?
2021 it must have been. Was COVID 2020? Yeah.
COVID was 2020. So 2021,
Yeah, it must have been.
me and Laura worked together on. Me and Laura were together on the same sort of mentorship, weren't we? And then we're actually on the same mentorship now as well. 4 years later,
Yeah.
but a different one. And we went to Dubai together, and we had a fucking ball. But
Yeah.
yeah, and that's how we've known each other, and
Mad.
very similar vibe, as you can tell from the podcast. But yeah, that's how we know each other. Okay, Laura, we'll get you on again in the future.
Thank
Thanks, babe.
you.
It's been amazing. And thanks everyone for listening. As always, I hope that podcast has enlightened you and put a smile on your face. And I hope you have a great day. I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.